Hey, hello, how are you? It is Wednesday, it is September 7th. It is 7th, right? I'm going to have to go look at my Google Calendar. Yes, it is 7th. I'm losing track of the days. No, I'm not really losing track of the days. It's just I had to take a vacation day today because I had, service engine light came on in my car. And I'd had trouble the past couple of days getting it to turn over. It was like click, 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 click. And every time I turn the key, I mean, it would turn over. But then I thought, well, I don't know. Is it an electrical problem? Is it the batteries? What is it? Battery. Although with the Mini, it could be battery powered. Anyway, took it in last night. And they took a look at it this morning, and it was indeed the battery. So that wasn't so bad. Could have been much worse, although that they did have a problem with clearing the service engine light. Problem being that they couldn't do it. And the mechanic wrote a little note on there saying, well, their computer couldn't talk to my computer in the car. I don't know. So I have to take it to a specialist. They're not sure if there's a problem with the computer or something else. Luckily, the specialist isn't too far from me, so I have to call tomorrow and see if I can bring it in and have a look at it. I mean, I'll live with the service engine light being on. That's not a huge problem, but of course I would like to get it reset so that in the event there is a problem, I know. So anyway, what's on my mind? Well, what's on my mind today is listening. It's interesting, I'd been reading a series of articles on attention being the currency of the internet, and I think that's always been true, right? I don't think that's really a new idea. I think that's always been with us from the get-go. But then today I listened to a man giving a talk on TED, Ideas That Matter. And he was talking in particular about listening, and the gentleman's name escapes me now. Isn't that terrible? I wasn't listening. But anyway, his point was there are these like 5 exercises you can do to improve your listening skills. And that's something I definitely want to do because I do think that I am as guilty as the next person maybe of not really listening when someone's talking to me. And the thing about that is, I noticed it in myself about a month and a half ago. I was having a conversation with someone on the telephone, and the telephone is right here by my computer. So very often when I'm speaking to someone, I have something else going on, right? I'm multitasking. And I was losing snippets of the conversation. I wasn't listening. And I noticed that. And I thought to myself, this is terrible. I would not like to have that happen to me. I would not like the other person on the other end of the phone or across the table or wherever to be doing something that was taking their attention off of me while I was trying to communicate with them. And that probably maybe sounds self-centered, but I don't think it does, right? I mean, I don't think that's an unusual thing to hope for or ask for when you're communicating with someone. So anyway, the way I dealt with it was now when I take a phone call, I leave the room where the computer is. I go to my bedroom, I go sit over on the couch in the loft, I go downstairs. I don't sit in front of the computer because I think it's a terrible distraction for me, definitely. Now, but in thinking about that even more, I started thinking about the whole notion of attention, the whole notion of listening, and how difficult it is in our world today to really concentrate anymore. And I've talked about this before. There's a lot of articles I've been reading about adults, getting sort of an attention deficit. And I'm not going to say it's an attention deficit disorder because I think that's maybe something else. But I think what it is that we're so bombarded with information every day of our lives, right? You go in, if you work in an office, you go in, it's the telephone, it's the email, it's coworkers, it's people who need your time. And you start with the computer, you start multitasking and you're doing 3 or 4 things at a time, and it's like our brains are starting to get compartmentalized in a way that I'm not entirely sure is healthy. And one of the articles I was reading was talking about how difficult it is for adults in many cases to really read anymore. A lengthy article, a book, forget it. People are so used to those snippets of information coming at you and hitting you just quick, that we're losing the ability. And I really made a concerted effort a couple months ago to start reading every day, for like a half hour, an hour, whatever I had time for. I wish I had more time for it, right? Because I really do enjoy reading, but I found myself too. It took a few days. It probably took, what is it? They say 7 days to establish a habit. I think it probably took a week for me to really get back into the groove of being able to sit down with a book and being able to read for a long time without becoming distracted by something. And I'll be real honest with you, that kind of scared me. excuse me, didn't like it. No, didn't like it at all. I thought, and then I started, thinking my immediate reaction, of course, is I don't like this. This is changing me. This is changing the way my brain works. This is just, I'm not happy about it. But then I started thinking about it, and I thought, well, everything's not bad, and we evolve, right? I mean, as humans, we evolve. So maybe that skill is no longer a skill that we need in the information age. I'm not ready to jump on that bandwagon, by the way, but I'm willing to play devil's advocate with myself, and I'm willing to think about it. But I think it bothers me a lot and I see it definitely in colleagues, and I see it in friends, and I think a lot of people are like in the same boat type of deal. And I'm not entirely sure we're all recognizing the enormity of that particular conclusion, right? Coupled with another thing that came out a while ago, and it's been going on for years, but it just kind of came to my attention, was that a lot of states now, the education boards are not requiring children to learn to write, cursive. Again, their world is changing, right? I mean, kindergartners are taking iPads to school. So they were talking about there's just not a real need for the cursive writing. And I think a lot of them offer it as an elective type of deal. But, I don't know, I feel bad about that. And I guess when you think about it, yeah, who really writes anymore? Who really writes letters? I mean, Christmas cards and that kind of thing, but very few people probably are sitting down and doing the pen pal thing the old-fashioned way with a pen and paper. Maybe email. I mean, certainly we talk to people all over the world on the net. So is there a need for cursive writing? Well, certainly there's a need for reading cursive writing, because if you look at historical documents, they're very often in cursive. So, I started thinking about that, and I was talking to Kim about it, and we were saying, there are going to be kids now who can't read the Declaration of Independence in its original form because they won't know how to read cursive. And that's kind of sad too, right? I don't know. I'm just getting to that age, I guess, where I'm getting to be an old fogey, and I don't like all this change. And back in my day, no, I'm not going to do that. No. Not going to do that, but I'm trying to embrace it, and I'm trying to find sort of the proverbial silver lining in all the changes that are going on. And I find them happening to myself. I see the effects of these evolutions on me. I see the effect of certainly technology on my life. I make my living with technology. I'm a programmer, and now I do enterprise architecture and data architecture. So it's near and dear to my heart. But by the same token, I do take note of how much of my entertainment comes from the computer, how much time I spend on it, socialization, certainly. I used LiveJournal now for 10 years, and a blogging site, if you're not familiar, where you did online journals. And then I also, of course, Facebook, and now Google Plus. And it's I'm still making up my mind, I guess, and trying to absorb how all of this is affecting me, and how all of this is affecting my brain, and therefore my relationships with other people, and how I relate, and how I communicate. So it's just all very interesting to me. But otherwise, I'm fine. I'm really good. Yeah, day off. That was unexpected and unplanned, and not particularly welcome, because I don't like using my vacation days this way, right? I would prefer to plan something, but c'est la vie. Que sera, sera. And that's the extent of my cliches in Spanish and French. So anyway, I'm just glancing at the timer, and I'm nearly at 9 minutes. So that's probably a really long time to even ask for your attention. So I'm going to get going. I hope you're all doing really well. Leave me a comment if you'd like, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.